Okay, our skater dude is starting to come along nicely here and starting to get a little bit of personality. Let's work on the mouth area and the shape of the face to get him to look a little bit more like what I want my character to look like. So let's start with the face, and we get the vertex mode here. And one of the things that's specific here, I'm going to select these vertices and I'm going to move them sort of inward that way, create that chin, see a little bit more of that sort of shaped chin. I'm going to grab this vertex and move this vertex right here, and move this out a little bit. Maybe this would come in a little bit, not as out as much. Okay. And this actually should probably come out just a little bit as well to support that. Now this part of the head needs to come in a little bit, and so does this, to sort of create the roundness and the shape that we want. You know, in fact, I think before we go too far with the excuse me, the actual shape of the face too much here, let's go ahead and work on this neck area and get that out of the way. So let's turn off Mesh Smooth. And what we're going to need to do is start sort of rounding this off just a little bit. We're going to change that shape by doing that, right? And same thing here, pull that in just a little bit, make it more round. Alright, and in so doing, then we can go ahead and start making some cuts around the outside of his shirt so that we can then deal with, and also definitely need to pull this in. Let's turn on Mesh Smooth so we can see how it's really going, but first of all, we really need to pull this in to create that thinner neck, and get this vertex here, in there. You can't see it right now because Mesh Smooth is sort of hiding it. There we go, now we're talking. Starting to get the neck working a little bit more natural. Mesh Smooth off, and let's adjust these vertices a little bit more, bring them in just a little bit more. Whoop, what's going on there? How come I have, uh-oh, that's not a good thing. Not sure how that happened. Let's move that up. Give an extra vertex there. Shouldn't be there. Let's see if we have a problem with this one here. Well, that was okay. Alright, so let's fix that. We need to target weld this to this. So once in a while you see a little funky error that happens when you're working with some of these things. There we go. It's fixed now. Make sure all the rest of these are okay. That one's fine. Not this one. We did some cutting there, so we want to make sure that that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Good. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom in on this neck area here. What we're going to do is we're going to begin making some cuts around here, and of course we're going to have to fix some of these because we're going to end up with a triangle and a five-sided here. Same thing's going to happen in the back, but we know how to fix those now. They're really simple. Be able to handle that without a problem. So let's go ahead. I'm going to end up scaling the neck in a little bit more once we get ready to bring that neck down inside of the shirt a bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and start cutting. Let's get our cut tool, and I'm going to start pretty close to the edges that exist right there. And before I fix those triangles and five-sided polygons that are happening, I'm going to wait until I have all the edges cut that I need to cut. And I'm going to cut I need to have at least 3 edges here, probably maybe even 4. So see what I'm saying? We're going to end up with fact, you know, we might be okay with just having that triangle down inside of there, because it's going to be inside the neck, and it's not going to affect animation, I don't believe, or the mesh smooth, really. And that's really the concern with three-sided polygons. We don't have to worry about, because now that we got that three-sided on there, all the rest of these are going to be four-sided. Well, I take it back, except that we're going to end up with we're going to have to fix something here, because we're going to end up with a five-sided polygon with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we're still going to have to fix that. So we're going to have to figure out what to do about that guy. We'll figure it out. Okay, so this last edge loop here should be adequate. Okay, the other thing that we were going to need to do, let's get out of the cut tool, turn mesh smooth on, is, you know, we're going to need to pull this vertex down a bit, and maybe out just a tiny bit, bring this one down and out a little bit, and bring this one just in a little bit. And down, this one down a little bit more, keep those flow of edges nice. We keep that nice flow of edges. I think his shoulder here probably could come out just a little bit. Bring that out and up, a little bit like that. I think that'll look a little bit better. Maybe this one as well, just a little bit. There we go. I'm just seeing these little details as I go on. I may as well take care of them right away. Okay, let's turn off mesh smooth, and what we're going to need to do here is we got these five-sided polygons here and here, and we're going to need to take care of those. If I was to cut from here to here, that would be fine. Yeah, no, that's going to be okay. That's going to be perfectly fine, in fact, because if I cut all the way through here, all of these are going to end up being four-sided polygons. So let's go ahead and you'll see what I'm talking about after I've done it. Go all the way from here to here. Okay, so you have a four-sided polygon here, 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 and even the triangle's a four-sided polygon. So it's actually working out just Jim Dan. Okay, and we're going to need to, you know, sort of straighten these out a little bit. We're going to push them closer to together once I get the neck kind of down inside of there. So that's going to be, you know, something we have to do. And let's do the same thing on this side. Zoom in so we can see what we're doing. There we go. And then just cut from here all the way. Oops, so, sorry. Uh-oh. I just realized I think I screwed something up on the front here. That is what I did. Let me see here. Yeah, that worked out okay here because we're going down to there, to that vertex. Let's just make sure we're doing the same thing over here. Yes, we are. So it'll be fine. It's going to create, yeah, we're going to be fine. Just wanted to double check, making sure I wasn't losing my beady little mind there just for a second. Okay, there we go. And we cut from here all the way to this polygon right there. And now we have a 1, 2, 3, 4-sided polygon. It seems a little funky because of the long angle of it, you know, but we don't need to worry about that at this particular juncture. It'll be fine. Same thing with this issue over here. As long as they're 5-sided, let's turn on mesh smooth, and you'll see it looks nice and smooth. It's not creating any pinching, and that would be a telltale sign right away if there was some funny pinching going on. We're going to need to adjust some things, so let's get out a cut tool and move, for instance, this vertex down a little bit because it's meant to be, you know, and then maybe out as well a little bit. It's meant to be, and then move this one down also, and out just a little bit. There we go. Now, we don't want to make him look all muscular or anything, but we should round him off just a little bit because he's meant to be a skinny kid. You know. All right, so we're getting that fixed, and then we'll work on the mouth in just a minute here. All right, so let's zoom in on our neck area here. Turn mesh smooth off, and we're going to select all of these. We're going to select all of these guys right here, these vertices. Keep doing that. All right, there we go. And we're going to move the neck in. Now, it's going to be a little awkward because it has to go in at a bit of an angle, but we can do that. So just move that in. You know, actually, first controls. Let's put that away. Let's do this first. Deselect this one. You know what I need to do? Yeah, no, we just want to go kind of down with this to start off with, and then we can move it the other direction. I think that's the best way to go. Yeah, just straight down is fine for now, and then move it back a little bit this way, and then down some more. And then what we need to do is grab that vertex that's down inside of here, right about there, and move that inward a little bit. See what I'm saying? Okay, now with these other vertices, what we're going to need to do is pull that up and closer to this other one here. So each one of these, this is going to be a little bit of a tedious process because it's kind of a challenge to get these in position here, but I'm going to pull them up and a little bit closer. I think I can probably grab all of these at once because they're in a nice line there. Pull them up and in an angle like that. Up and in. And then I'm going to pull this one up really close to this one, and that'll create that nice edge that we're after for the collar. Select all these guys. Not so much up, but then a little bit up, and a little bit more inward. There we go, about like that. Okay, and then finally, this one we have to be careful. Just on the Z and Y axis, we don't want to make any holes. Bring this one up and in, and there we go. Now we have, whoops, zoom out. This guy could be, actually this probably is up a little too high. In fact, I think this one is up a little too high. This can be brought down a little bit. And then this one can come down a little bit. Let's just see what we got. There we go. And then this one just needs to go inward a bit. Alright, now, and maybe up. Okay, so I'm going to try to get these all kind of even around first before I pull them in. So that they're pretty much on the same level as the vertices on the inside of the edge loop. All right, now ones like this, easy. Push it really close. I want to get it pretty close. I don't want to, now we have these edges down here too. These vertices down here, they need to be pulled in a little bit so that when I pull this in, it's not overlapping or whatever. See that change a little bit? That means that it's a little bit of a problem there. Let's see what's going on with the mesh smooth in a minute here. Oops. Here. Okay, not bad. Once again, I want to point out, you see that I'm working on this plane here. Okay, sometimes when we're at an angle like this, see the angle, we need to just simply use that first and then move it up. But sometimes that ZX plane is a perfect one to use to move things, but that's not going to happen in this case. We need to use this first just to move it up close and then decide if it needs to be a little higher. It's down, way down, so we need to pull that up a little bit. In fact, it's over a long ways too, so we got to get this in the right angle. Usually from above is the best one. And then we're able to get that in there. There. Up just a little bit. We're almost there. Like I said, this is a little bit of a tedious process. And this one's easy because it's right in the middle. So we pull that straight that way and then straight up. Alright, now when we turn Mesh Smooth on, we can see we have a fairly hard-edged, I want to say collar, but it's not a collar, just the top of his t-shirt. It's maybe a little too close there. A little cluster of vertices there. But I think that's okay. Let's get out of vertex mode and see how it looks. Not too bad. Not too bad. Now we need to also round up the neck a little bit because it's still very sort of rectangular. That's something we probably should have done before we tucked that down inside of there, huh? Sorry, I think we can probably grab all of those vertices at the same time if I just do this. Let's turn on ignore back facing so that I don't select something, strange area. We just move all of this sort of inward a little bit like that. We'll end up shaping the neck and the collar at the same time. I'm going to call it collar just because I can't think of what else to call it. Pull this out. Find that vertex is like right about there. How did I find it? I found it by following the edges. I knew that that edge was going to go there, and this edge going up there. That vertex has to be right there. Okay, and we need to do the same thing with this one. So we move that inward a little bit more. Perhaps this one as well. Yeah, that one inward. Angle a little bit more. We get more of a round look, and we're making his neck a little more skinny too, which is what we're after. Okay, I'm going to select these guys and pull them straight out that way just a little bit. Let me grab these as well. No, those are fine. Alright, get out of vertex mode, take a look. Yeah, not looking bad. Not looking too bad. Mesh Smooth, back in vertex mode. We can see some really obvious things when we're not in Mesh Smooth. Move that over a little bit, pull it out just a little bit, bring this down just a little bit, bring it in just a little bit at an angle. There we go. This part of the head back here needs to come in, sticking out way too far. Like he has a deformed skull. Don't want that. Go up to another edge loop on this edge. Same thing here. Let's make these work. Okay, this is looking a little better all the time. You gotta look all over the place. Okay, now this cheek is sticking out a long ways, but that's because when we turn Mesh Smooth on, it rounds that off and it makes it look more like the way I want my character to look. I think I could probably push this jaw up a little bit. There we go. Same here. Push that up just a little bit. Trying to get that shape for his face. Kind of the look that I'm after here. I'm going to be a little heavy-handed here. I'm going to select all of these vertices. Oops, too many. Too big of a selection. Zoom in a little tighter. I'm going to turn Mesh Smooth off so I can select them a little bit better. I'm going to select all of these vertices right there on the inside as well as on the outside. I need to pull this back a little bit. It's just the natural shape of the eye, of the face. Yeah, that's going to look better. Turn Mesh Smooth back on again. Yep, that definitely is much better. It actually helps to pronounce also the cheek, which is what I'm trying to do as well. Okay, now I think it's time to start working on the mouth. Okay, so let's turn Mesh Smooth off. And let's start doing the mouth. Now the mouth is handled very similar to the eyes. Okay, and we haven't even started shaping the eyes yet. And we're going to do that later on when we actually put an eyeball in there. And you actually shape your eye around the eyeball. So that's kind of cool. Because that's the way the human, that's the way people are made. You know. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing that we did, or a similar thing that we did with the eyes, where we create a cut, which starts off as a triangle, just like here. In fact, let's undo that. Let's make that cut a little bit wider. Now, this isn't going to be the actual shape of the mouth just yet, but it'll get there. Because just like with the eyeball, we're going to be shaping the mouth by creating these edge loops around the whole area right here, so we can actually shape the mouth and prepare it for animation in case we want it to create some expressions, smile, yawn, or whatever, you know, animate that. All right, so then we also have to make a cut from here to there. And now we have all four-sided polygons right there. Make a cut from here to here. And now we have all four-sided polygons here. And now we can actually think about sort of shaping this mouth a little bit. So let's get out of the cut tool. And let's get this pulled down just a little bit. Pull this up just a little bit. Let's pull that up just a little bit. Okay, that's a start. That's a start. So now, as we make edge loops around here, we're going to have a bunch of four-sided polygons, and we're going to be able to work with those to create the actual shape of the mouth. Now, what we're going to do, as we did with the eye, we're going to actually go ahead and extrude this mouth part in here. That might seem like lips right now, but it's really not. You know, the lips are going to be similar though. We're going to be making these lips, and we're going to shape them so that they actually look as much like this. I like the smirk. You know, they kind of like sort of kid with an attitude, kind of like grin there. You know, so we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and make some cuts first, so we have something to work with here. You see, we still have all four-sided polygons here, so we're going to make a few. You can make some more. So what we're going to do is the same thing with the mouth as we did with the eyes. We're going to extrude the mouth in a couple of times. We don't need as many of these edges. So we're going to go ahead and get some polygons now and select these. Oops, get out of the cut tool. And select these polygons and extrude them in. Okay, that's a problem. Oh, we can fix that. We can fix that, no problem. We'll be able to fix that. Let's turn off symmetry for the moment. Not a problem. We'll be able to fix that. In fact, what we're going to do right away here is we're going to, let's try this. First of all, I need to extrude it in instead of outward. Just need to extrude it in a couple of times, but what we need to do as we're extruding this inward, we need to make sure that those vertices, so we're going to change this to a front view just temporarily so we can actually see. I just hit the F key to turn that into a front view. F key for front view. So there we go. So let's go ahead and check that and get the vertices here. And these vertices right here need to be set back to 0. Oops. These vertices need to be set back to, I can't select those suckers. There we go. Set back to 0. So select down here on the x-axis. It's 0.032. It's not off by very much, but that's, you know, that's too much. So there we are. Now we're good. Now we should be able to extrude this in some more, and I think everything will line. Up. Okay, we'll find out. So I'll get back to the front view here because I just rotated my orthographic viewport. In fact, no, I'm going to change it to a perspective view again so we can actually rotate around a little bit and see how it's going to extrude in. Now the other problem that we have is that it's creating, well, not a problem, it's something we need to fix. Just like we did with the head when it extruded up, the mouth is right here in the center, so we got to delete these polygons when we get done extruding. So we're just going to go ahead and extrude again. And we're going to, oops, let's get out of there. Let's get into polygon mode here. Polygon, there we go. And so we're going to extrude again. And that's probably going to be enough. That should be enough. In fact, I think I might even bring this in a little bit. It's a little touchy. It's a little bit touchy. Clicking until it gets kind of where I want it to be. Okay, and then one more, just to be on the safe side. There we go. And let's see how that extruded from the front viewport. See, we still have the same problem. But you know, that's not really going to matter as much once we delete those polygons. But we are going to need to start by deleting the polygons, and then the vertices left behind will be off center. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that right now. So select this polygon. Oop, Control Z. Check that. There we go. Now select this polygon, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. And polygons you just simply delete because you are actually trying to remove them. There we go. So now what I need to do is go back to the front view, zoom in real close, get these guys here, and let's go ahead and select all of these polygons right there. I don't know if I got them all. Zoom in a little tighter. Nope, I did not. Let's get that one as well. And that one. I think that's it. Or, yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so then we're going to set these guys back to 0. And, no, that seems a little bit off still. So this one. And you know why? It was because these guys weren't all on the same distance apart. So we need to set those to 0. This time we should be okay, I think. This one's off a little bit. That one should be at 0. So you have to have an eagle eye to work with this stuff and make sure every single one of these vertices is at perfect 0. Otherwise, we end up with goofy problems that we don't notice later on. Now's the time to make sure that we get it right. So just check all these vertices. It's starting to look okay now. They look like they're pretty much lined up. It doesn't hurt to check 0, 0, 0. Document. Yeah, I have to check with this. 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, I think we're good. Everything's good. All right. So now we have our mouth. Let's change it back to perspective view. Hit P. Okay, turn on mesh smooth and turn off vertices, turn on symmetry, and see we actually have a mouth here. I mean, it's not looking exactly the way I want it to yet, but it's close, you know, and it won't be long before we're able to, you know what I'm going to do right away? Let's go ahead and do this now. I'm going to go ahead and delete the polygons inside of here. Let's turn on the ignore back these things, turn it off. I'm going to select these polygons right here. Okay, in fact, I'm going to select these also right here. Let's rotate around. See if I can get to these other ones as well. Okay, I may have missed one, but that's okay. Once I delete those, if there's one left, through us. You can select it here now. And delete that one. There we go. Now we have a character with holes in his head, but that's fun. Like I said, the eyeball's going to fit inside of here, and we'll never see it. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the mouth, which is much easier because there's only two. Okay, and then when we turn on Mesh Smooth and Symmetry and get out of Polygon mode, and zoom out a little bit, rotate around. Okay, you're beginning to see, I hope, how much like a cartoon boy character this is starting to look like. Okay, so we got the mouth started. There's, I could probably start shaping it a little bit, so let's go ahead and do that. And the things to do to shape it are going to be to, for instance, create that little bottom lip a little bit. And the way you do that is there's going to need to be some more edge loops. So I'm going to create some more edge loops around here, at least one more set. This edge loop probably could go up a little bit more. I could spread these out just a tiny bit. Can't hurt to do that. And that'll give us a little more breathing room. So let's turn off Mesh Smooth, and let's go ahead and cut in another set of edge loops here. Another row of edge loops all the way around in the circle. There we go. And the other thing that we probably should do, we have a 5-sided polygon going on right here. But you know what? We could fix that. I didn't even notice that until just now, in fact. Let me zoom in right here. We also have a little problem right there. So let's target weld that. That happens sometimes when you're making, cuts. You think you got right on that vertex and you didn't. So what we got going on here is I would really like to have an edge loop going across like this and down this way, right? So by doing so, let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can create a cut that will, no, I take it back. Not important right now. Not important right now. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. Let's not get picky. All right, so let's go ahead and work on the mouth just as we were talking about. So let's get the let's get this going here. So what we need to do to create that sort of bottom lip and a little bit of a top lip is to pull out, straight out, this polygon, pull this down, pull this one down, pull this out just a little bit, but at an angle. Kind of like that. This needs to come out just maybe a little bit more. Straight out. This one's going to need to, and then we can bring that in perhaps later if we need to. In fact, let's do it now. I think we're going to need to. Same thing with this one. Bring it in a little bit more. And then okay, so what we'll do is we'll bring this out. And let's bring this out a little bit, so a little bit farther than the upper. And bring this in just a little bit, maybe up. And a little bit here, but not as pronounced. Sort of up and in. See what we get when we turn Mesh Smooth on now. Okay, so with Mesh Smooth on now we can see that we need to make this a little more pronounced. Right? Maybe pull this, and let's leave that like that. Perhaps pull that up a little bit. Pull this down a little bit. Pull this closer to that a little bit. Pull this, grab this one, move it inward a little bit. Pull this over a little bit more. And perhaps even down just a little bit. Pull this one, up and out a little bit. This could go in more. Perhaps this could go in just a little bit more also. And then to make sure that he has a decent chin, let's go ahead and pull this out a little bit more. Zoom out. See how he's looking. Now, also around the eyes, you know, seems like you know, we have a lot of extra space here, so we're going to be able to use these edges to help shape the face. Notice how kind of pointy that is right at the moment, and part of that is because of the nature of there's not very many vertices and things to shape with in this area. Pull these out a little bit and kind of shape them. I think this could probably, oops, like that. Grab that, move this over a little bit. Turn that off. Thinking maybe just a little bit. This needs to come up just a tiny bit. Don't want it to be too pronounced because it is a cartoon character and he's supposed to be a bit of an imp. A kind of impish look on his face and stuff, you know. Kind of a wise guy. I appreciate wise guys as long as they're good wise guys. It's the difference between a smart ass and a wise guy, you know. Okay, so out of vertex mode. He's starting to come along. Now, ultimately, the reason why I'm leaving the mouth open is because we're going to need to shape it more. And if we close that mouth, it's going to be harder to get in there with those to get to those vertices and work with it. And so we're going to kind of leave him at that for right now. So it's coming along pretty nicely. The neck is coming out of the t-shirt. There's a little bit of a collar on the t-shirt. There needs to be some more detailing, but we now have a nose, eyes, eye sockets, and a mouth started. And you know, the face is starting to look a little bit more like what I'm looking for as far as the character that I conceived. Okay, so when on the next video we will begin refining this some more. Well, actually, in fact, I'm not going to even call it refining anymore. I'm going to call it detailing. We're going to start shaping things more perfectly, and start creating some variety in our character, all over it. Okay, so next video will be about detailing.